Now we got sound.
We do?
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know why he keeps doing that. He keeps booting.
They're just anticipating us doing another copyright violation.
Ever since I did this X splitter, every time I've done this X splitter update, it's been doing this shit.
I don't know. Did you just restart the same live stream and it worked?
No, I did a different one.
Yeah. Didn't notify me. That's weird.
Well, there's people watching.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
working now.
Okay, yeah, we're good. Okay. Cool.
Yep. All right, I think we're on now.
Yes, we're on. Yeah. I don't know why it does that. It freaking pisses me off. Ever since I did the update to X Splitter, what it does is it boots out the soundboard. Doesn't recognize it as a source in, and then once I turn it to where I turn it on for the sound source, YouTube now doesn't pick it up.
Okay,
it's weird. It's kind of stupid.
At least you know how to solve it now. I guess.
I'm not seeing us back on live.
We're back on.
Yeah, I saw 2 on there. 2 episode 170. So
yep.
One is we're just gonna have to shit can it.
Matt Hagg says sounds good.
Yep.
So apparently we're back on. All right. And he's our only one watching right now.
Well, thank you. Thank you, my friend.
Hey Matt, you want to hear a particular song? I'm gonna sing in mood tonight.
Yeah.
I do some Springsteen. I did a little Sinatra before.
Drop your requests in the comments. Smash that
like button.
If you smash that like button, Worshipful Brother Joe will serenade you with the tune of your choice.
I'll sing anything. I'll do a little Iron Maiden for you.
I seen him.
I prefer to do Flight of Icarus. Definitely some Sinatra. Matt Hagg.
Yeah. Any kind of crooner music Joe can do.
Bye-bye. Okay. Let's see what I got for you.
Definitely some Sinatra. All right, I'm ready, boys. Whenever you are.
I guess I'm not doing my Sinatra.
Or you can do it.
No, forget it. No, screw it.
Do your thing. Do your thing.
No, I'm not. I don't want to do it now.
Just trying to get WavePad back up so that we can freaking start this shit wagon.
We have to redo the intros.
Yep.
It was so good the first time.
I know.
Now we're going to recreate that.
We don't have to recreate it. Just
maybe we should script this stuff.
Yeah, we should. Yeah. All right, ready?
Yep.
5, 4, 3, 2. Hello and welcome to the Freemasons podcast again because our first feed failed. This is your host, was one of your hosts, right? Worshipful Brother George Mudry,
Worshipful Brother Joe,
and Worshipful Brother Ken.
Let's try this shit again, boys, shall we?
Yeah.
YouTube decided to, it's my X-splitter, but whatever. Tomato. Today's episode is going to be episode 170, Alternate Universe. What impact on Freemasonry would technology have if it died?
Try that again. Try that again. It didn't make sense.
Didn't? What
would the impact be on Freemasonry
if technology went away? How did I say it? I said it all stupid.
It was like time? Backwards.
No, whatever. I'm bass backwards. Okay. I'll tell you.
Apparently our feed's not the only thing that failed.
Yeah. George needs a reboot.
That is why you failed. Anyway, first thing we're gonna do is quick housekeeping. Likes, Joe.
Likes. We've only had one since our last episode, and that is one Mr. Dylan Gobin. 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 Like a goblin, but without the L.
Nice.
Cool.
Brother Ken?
Loading.
I'll go then with Nathan Rolofson. I think I shouted him out last time, but we'll do it again. And David Warren on YouTube.
No new ones on Instagram.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
So follow us on Instagram, guys.
It's going to be a short little like then. I just want to check Apple, and then we'll get going from there. It's going to be a good one, I think. Alternate Universe.
We always have fun with these episodes.
Yes. And what normally happens when we do these alternate universes is the goddamn things come true, like we're freaking Nostradamus.
Like we're master manifestors.
We are.
Matt Haggerty, I think I shouted out your last. You were the last of them, or your 5-star review. So he's watching. So cheers, Matt.
Cheers.
Thank you. We shouted you out last time, but I definitely want to recognize that while you're on here. So Deep 15, welcome. And what do we say, boys? Who wasn't here last?
Kenny.
Was I not the last one?
Lead the charge.
Very well. Brethren, right hand to arms.
To arms.
Ready.
Ready.
Aim.
Aim.
Fire good fire. Fire all. Together, brethren.
Vivat, vivat, vivat. All right, boys. I think it's going to be a good one.
We have very active imaginations on
yes,
this
we
show.
do.
Yeah.
I love the alternative universe ones because when we do them, it's like you're using your own friggin' brain, rather than having to read off of a shut up.
The cue card or something.
Rather than having to read off the internet or, talk about something that's already happened. At least this kind of gives us a chance to use our imagination and our psychic abilities, apparently. Because last one, we predicted, what did we predict? We did talk about
the virus.
The virus.
The pandemic.
And what the hell's the other one? Oh, going
governmental collapse
or something like that.
Alluded to that.
Yeah, I think the first one might have been governmental collapse because I think you guys did that when I was making a trip to Ohio again.
Right.
And then
government hasn't collapsed, but shit has hit the fan, but we'll move on.
Give it time.
Give it time.
Exactly.
All right, boys. So let's set up the scenario.
This is how liberty dies with thunderous applause.
Yeah. Yep.
So let's set up the scenario here, which is basically it could be anything. It could be, just 5G and what it's supposed to be. Skynet takes over and shuts down.
Some kind of electromagnetic pulse.
Pulse.
Solar storms.
Solar storms.
Oh my God, poor Kent.
Some
There's
kid
a solar storm.
Yeah.
It burns.
All right. Don't worry about me.
Oh, poor Kent.
Worry about the craft. Not about me.
Oh shit, that's a
fine.
good one. But we can go with a kid in the basement in his sweatpants and a spaghetti stained
Messner?
spaghetti stained
What are we talking about here?
just a kid in his basement freaking playing with the internet, and next thing you know he shuts down the entire
shuts the power
almost
grid.
like God, what's the Matthew brought War Games?
War games, right?
Yeah,
Shuts the whole damn thing down,
Yep.
kills all the internet, squashes Silicon Valley. And, realistically, Freemasonry in itself has pretty much moving that way, I guess you could say, to Facebook pages, Zoom meetings, and all that stuff. And some kid with a spaghetti stained wife beater in the basement goes and shuts the whole damn thing down. How would this impact Freemasonry? We'll start off with the cyborg.
All right. Well, I will say that Freemasonry has, obviously there's the precedent has been set. This entire craft started prior to technology, right? So just based on that fact alone, we know how to run the business of our lodges. We know how to make new Masons. We know how to conduct degrees without the use of technology. Obviously, with the pandemic recently, the craft was forced to become a little bit more technologically savvy. We've got hybrid degree forms that a lot of grand jurisdictions have put forth. We have edicts on how many brothers can show up for meetings and degrees, right? So we have to know how to use Zoom, and we have to set up equipment in our lodges, and we've gotten a little bit more adept at that. But Freemasonry came from a time prior to technology. So all we have to do is go back and look at the minutes from those previous meetings if we don't know how to conduct business as Masons without technology, and all that information is there. So I think the craft at large would be fine.
Okay.
What I will say is, is it going to impact our membership at all if all of a sudden, technology isn't what it should be, and maybe we don't have long range communication anymore? Maybe the internet goes down, something like that. Is it like, how is that going to impact people, men coming to our doors? That's more interesting to me, I think. Like, if you no longer have the ability to go on a social network online, does that all of a sudden make organizations like Freemasonry more attractive to young men? Because
Good question.
that's kind of your original social network there, right? Sitting
Right,
around the campfire or going out and going to, fraternal meetings.
Right.
So I'd like to think it would. Granted, I also don't want to see technology or the power grid or something go down. So I don't really want to test that theory at all. Yeah, but
maybe we shouldn't talk about it then.
that's kind of that's why I'm getting a little nervous over here. Like, I don't want to see that kind of thing come to pass. But still, I think the craft would be fine. I think we would be able to continue operations. Obviously, right, if something like that happens, we've got kind of like the Maslow's hierarchy of needs we got to deal with. You got to have food and shelter and stuff like that. Once all that's taken care of, and men want to go back and meet, together in lodge, I don't see any reason why we wouldn't be able to do that.
Right.
Yeah. What he said. No. I mean, he did say a lot of things similar to my line of thinking, but I would almost venture to say that Freemasonry might thrive, not just survive during it, that it could potentially thrive, because especially in those lodges that have set themselves up as the pillars of the community. People know where the building is. If you've set yourself up properly in the community, people are going to come to you first to seek help. They may think that we're responsible for it.
That's a problem.
But like, if we've got our stuff together and we're the ones kind of holding that light and being that beacon during the tough times, I think people are just naturally going to be drawn to us for our charitable purposes, for our just desire and commitment to help the community and each other. And I think just by our example, people would seek out membership, and it might be a good thing. You're not getting caught up in all this internet stuff and social media and all the disinformation that's out there. You'd have to return it to its most pure form,
right?
Which might be a good thing.
So this could either go one way or the other. We know this, right? It's either going to help the craft or it's going to hurt the craft. I guess we could look at it from those 2 points of view. One, I'll start with where I think it'll hurt the craft. I've always written out my minutes. I absolutely refuse to upload them to Grandview for the simple reason of posterity for the future, right? So that, one of the
the secretary's job is going to suck.
But
it's going to go back to sucking more.
Here's my thing, right? If you go back to the books that we have from 1804, our original minutes, they're all handwritten. Like, that's history right there.
Yeah.
There's no history, at least in my opinion, of writing minutes that are typed out on a computer. It's not as personal, I guess you could say, right? Because you don't know what the guy's handwriting was. There's a less of a human factor, I guess you could say,
I agree
to it, right?
with that. Yeah,
with the exception of the signature, right, of the person who typed them out. But now what we're doing is, Grandview has been, and I refuse to do this for the secretary for this exact reason. You could now type out your minutes and then upload them to Grandview, and all your minutes will be in Grandview. So,
which is actually probably better, because then it persists up.
But is it though? Given what we're talking about, now your minutes
can't do that. Yeah.
If your grade goes, not your grade, but your internet, whatever you want to call it, goes tits up, you're losing all of that history.
Yeah, okay.
Gone of what happened from 2019 till whenever the hell. You're losing that chunk of history.
Right.
The other thing that I've talked to somebody about is somebody had got a charter, and this is up for another conversation. We'll get into this later, but somebody got their charter via PDF file.
Like their working charter?
Their working charter.
Wow.
Again, this is for a whole nother conversation, and we will cover this at some point. But
so they just they launch it on their cell phone or whatever, and they put their cell phone on the altar.
I don't know.
They probably print it up.
You probably print it out.
It looks like it's like a form letter.
But
really, actually, some of it even looked like it might have been copy pasted, not photoshopped in it, but like cropped in there.
Right. But now we have a charter from 1804 in there. We also got a charter from 1852 in there.
And
imagine if it's all PDF now. Poof, your charter goes disappeared. If this alternate universe where the internet goes kaboom,
you can't work.
You got nothing. You got no proof that you're a lodge.
I mean, you always have to. I think in Connecticut, at least in our grand jurisdiction, you have to have a physical copy of your charter in that tube in order to operate.
But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because
you can't get a new one.
Well, not only that, but if technology, if lodges in Freemasonry moves to where it's going to meld more with the future, and now they don't have actual written charters, and it's just PDF filed, or your minutes are just uploaded to a Grandview, and that website goes boom.
Yeah, nobody knows.
You have nothing to prove,
Okay.
So that's where I can see it hurting. On top of that, the EMR system, which, I mean, I wouldn't be I wouldn't cry a tear if the EMR system went kaboom either.
No, and people would know, hey, if I can't access the internet, obviously, if I want to go and find out what Freemasonry is all about, I have to go knock on the door or talk to a Mason. We're prepared for that.
Which,
Right.
to me, would not be a bad
Yeah,
thing.
that would not be a bad
Yeah,
thing.
well, that brings me to the flip side of this. One of the things that drew me to Freemasonry was the mystery of it, right? The whole secret society.
Can't
So-
go looking for them conspiracy theories
So-
online.
I mean, basically, when you're on the internet with your legs spread the entire time, I mean, we're Freemasons, we're here, yeah, come join us, man. You
Oh,
know?
I thought you were talking about my
That other
channel.
website,
my YouTube channel.
his TikTok.
No,
profile.
but I mean, you get what I'm saying. Like Freemasonry is, I mean, some have even argued that it's prostituting itself out on the internet to try to bring in new members because we're a dying craft. The flip side of it is if the internet goes boom and now you have this secret society that now it's not so much actually secretive, you know, it might allure people to be like, hey, I want to find out what this is about.
Yeah. And there's a lot of garbage and like misinformation out there on the web too. If that went away, that
Exactly.
wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing.
But here's the thing, and people are, you know, when you bring up that subject, and maybe that's another topic for a different day, but our craft is never going to die. It'll never die.
No.
It may contract, it may shrink. It's never ever going to die. You will always have a group of individuals seeking more than what they have, trying to seek more light and understanding, and that pursuit is just innate in man. So it's never going to die.
I mean, to Ken's point, Ken had said that Freemasonry, in his opinion, is the last bastion of civility and gentlemen, like, you know. So I think in there it would thrive. But if you get rid of the internet, I mean, you're going to have. I think that certain places it would thrive, where it's, and I think it would go back to a very primitive form of Freemasonry where it's secretive. It's we protect our own more so than we do now. We wouldn't maybe be so worried about civil authority.
No, I mean, you might have to be protecting your own more than normal because
of
if
the
technology
situation,
isn't around, like, first of all, society is going to collapse. And then after that, it's still going to be an ugly place to live.
Right. The other thing I would have to add to is you're going to have less, you'd have lodges doing more of their own thing rather than being, Grand Lodge wouldn't be in their face as much. Lodges, you would have, you follow what I'm getting at, because Grand Lodges are very much, send us this PDF. Here's your, send us your file about the last,
they wouldn't
last
have
year
the
or
ability
whatever.
to surveil all of their constituent lodges as easily as they can today.
Exactly, or keep track of them for that matter. Yep. I mean, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I think of like St. Andrew's Lodge number 2 in Boston. I mean, they didn't have computers or Grand Lodges keeping an eye on them. And what did they end up doing? Throwing a bunch of freaking tea over the side of the boat during their freaking refreshment time.
Whoops.
So I'm just making a point that I believe that it would revert more to that primitive type of Freemasonry where it's more protective. It's more guarded about who it brings in. It's not going to, you know, I'm gonna say prostitute itself out to just, hey, come join us. Come on.
Yeah,
if you're a good man, fill out this big poster board on the side of the thing. You
Yeah.
can stand there in boxing gloves. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You wouldn't see that anymore.
And don't get me wrong, when I say that our craft will never die, it'll thin the herd.
Like Goonies.
Oh yeah, it's gonna.
It'll thin the herd quite a bit.
Yep.
Which I don't see as a bad thing.
I don't think you see it
Because
as a bad
I've
thing, because you're
really-
returning to the more pure form of it that attracted most of us to it. And
here's the problem. It kind of, I feel Masonry is very, not very, but more money oriented than it was in its original form. And the reason why, and I don't mean this in a bad way, is because of the amount of charity that we do.
yes,
You don't hear about the charity of the ancient Freemasons, or not ancient, but you know, the colonial Freemasons, 1700s. You don't hear about that charity because realistically they didn't.
right.
They were not a charitable organization back then.
They may have been charitable to each other.
They were charitable
and they
to
may
each
have helped
other.
when they could.
Yeah,
But
population was lower. I mean, in their village where they were located, I'm sure if somebody was destitute, the lodge is going to take pity on them, help them out.
I think it gets
But
back to that, you know, the poor, the distressed, that portion of it. They would be there for.
I'm just saying, you don't see Sam Adams and Paul Revere going up to Masonic here and freaking hanging out and, hanging out with
those
the-
organizations just didn't exist.
Right. but you really didn't. You'd seen charity amongst more themselves rather than the outside, public. Right?
Yeah, it definitely wasn't as prolific as it is today.
So I think personally you would see more of I'm agree with Joe. I think you'd see a shrinking of Freemasonry where I definitely think it would be more exclusive to get in.
Yeah, absolutely.
No one's just going to be able to show up to the lodge, be like, hey, want to join? Yeah.
Well, like a whole class of individual is just eliminated by virtue of the fact that they can't be behind a keyboard to start the process. They have to physically go in front of somebody else. And a lot of people just,
good point.
Aren't willing to make that commitment.
Yeah. For right now, it's so easy for people to just go,
yeah.
Oh, I joined.
Yeah.
Right.
And then they go once a month and then they take their degrees and then you never see them again.
Or they find some garbage on the internet that's completely untrue and then decide not to approach Freemasonry's doors, even if they are well qualified and would make great brothers.
Right.
I'm going to go ahead.
I was just going to read Worshipful Joseph Schultz. We should focus on quality men. I would rather have 10 committed brothers than 200 shrinkers brought in just to fill the coffers. Agree.
Yeah, because the 10 people it's only going to be those 10 that show up to do the work anyway. So it doesn't matter how many you have.
Yep.
And that's what brings me back to the whole money oriented thing is that, Freemasonry, I feel, is trying to more pump people through the chairs to keep lodges alive, to keep money flowing upstream so that charitable events in hospitals and things can keep running.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a shrinking on the low end and you close your numbers down, now you have grand lodges or any organization having to dig into their own pockets to try to make up the ends of what they're doing. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there's you can play this debate all day long. I mean, we started the podcast to grow Freemasonry to see that we're, what we really are, but you do have many of the old school mentality of Freemasons and a lot of past masters and past grandmasters who have this mentality of, no, we need to let it shrink, let it get smaller.
We're gonna have to take this show onto ham radio. We'll be like the
make
radio underground. That would be pretty cool.
I know a couple brothers,
like Guerrilla Radio,
ham radio guys. We could make.
I know
as long as we can start the show with
work for brother John Deere that's been on the show. He's a big
ham
radio guy.
Can we start the show with
Good Morning Vietnam?
No. Rage Against the Machine, Lights Out, Guerrilla Radio.
If we could have something to play it,
Lights out. I would think that would be compulsory for any show that we were starting.
But here's
radio,
but to give you a real example here, because I think what happened at my mother lodge is kind of what we're talking about, but on a smaller scale. So pandemic comes, we are not allowed to meet as a lodge. Like we can't go in the building. You're not allowed to have more than a couple people at a time. Blah blah blah. We found a way. What we decided was we were just going to show up. Right, Jeff Goldblum. We decided to show up at the lodge, and we set up our chairs outside, more than 6 feet apart. We lit a fire in a little fire pit in between us, and we just sat there and had philosophic discussions. Some of it definitely Masonic, some of it just societal issues as a whole. But we sat there and we just had these conversations that would start at 6:30, 7 o'clock at night, and I was there well past midnight many nights.
Harmony did something like that too.
And it just, you walk away from those experiences, you're like, oh my God, we didn't do any business. There were no minutes. There was nothing, but it was what we do in such a pure, stripped down form. It was like MTV Unplugged. But people walked away from like, those were some of the greatest lodge meetings we've ever had. Our non-lodge meetings were some of the best meetings we've ever attended.
So Masonry Unplugged.
Yeah. So
I like that concept.
It was, I'm telling
like
you,
Nirvana.
It was great.
Well, speaking of Rage Against the Machine, Joe here, as you can see, is rocking his Zach De La Rocha hoodie.
We've already covered this. He's freaking Jeb from, you called me Jeb from
Jed Eckert from
Red Dawn. From Red Dawn.
But you called me Che Guevara or whatever. I'm like, oh my God, what the hell?
He's a revolutionary.
Red Dawn, baby. Wolverines. Wolverine.
I did. That was Che Guevara. That's why. But I didn't say that, though. I said Eddie Guerrero or something.
You said Chavo Guerrero.
That's right.
We knew what you meant.
Which if Brother Art Del Cueto's listening, he'll get a kick out of Chavo Guerrero. It was Eddie Guerrero's brother.
So kind of going off of what you were just saying about having lodges outside and everything, it is true that the shit you own ends up owning you. And
Mhm.
I feel that's where Masonry is at today. We have all these big elaborate buildings. We got hospitals, and I think all the charity work is absolutely great. I'm not taking away from all that, but we have all these big hospitals. We have all these, I mean, with big things come big expenses. And let's be real, shit ain't getting any cheaper.
Yeah.
So
I
you
think
have,
I don't know.
It's kind of a luxury that when times are good, you can do that. But if times got bad, you'd have to reconsider the structure of that.
right. Real quick, Matt Haggerty says, I'm on Patreon and I'm seeing 5 levels still. Thought it was just 1 level now. Is that this the right Patreon? Yes. And I'll tell you why. Here's what happened. I went to go into to change the levels all to 5.
Yeah.
And there are still people who have not gotten off of that tier, whatever it be, the 3 or it be the 7 or the 9 or the 50. They haven't gotten off that tier yet to move to 5 after I've told them to, because I wanted to kill the other ones.
Right.
But now Patreon will not allow me to delete that tier
While they're still,
while they're still on there. So that's
Ah.
why they're still up. I can't get rid of them until everybody migrates to the $5 tier. So if I can't, it won't allow me to just can it.
Right. This is why technology needs to die.
Yeah, let's just go. Send us $5 in a self-addressed stamped envelope.
There you
and
go.
we'll-
Yep.
We'll send you your pin.
Yep.
Problem solved.
Yep.
Yeah.
So getting back to what I was saying, shit that you own ends up owning you. We have a craft of shrinking. We have an expense that's rising. At some point, we're going to need to either start allowing people who really don't fit the bill of Freemasonry into the craft in order to pay for these expenses, right? Which is, in my personal opinion, what we're seeing right now. You're seeing a lot of Masons that they're just being pushed through the door, to fill a hole,
Mhm.
to get a dues check or something like that.
I think there are definitely lodges out there that are doing
Yeah.
that to survive.
And here's the problem, though. Now you're bringing in people who really don't fit the bill of Freemasonry.
Right.
And on top of that, they're going to fall away.
Right.
And you're just, continuing this expense, and you're not giving anything back to the craft. And what you end up having is this whole giant shitstorm where eventually something's got to give. And my personal opinion is, I think some of these big things that we have need to go. And one of the things that we need to go, in my personal opinion, and I know people are going to rip my head off for this, but the big elaborate buildings. I would love to see Freemasonry go back to its primitive days of when it was meeting in people's friggin' houses.
Houses or the neighborhood tavern.
Neighborhood
like upstairs
tavern.
at a tavern.
Upstairs in a tavern, kind of like us.
Yeah.
No, but like above a neighborhood tavern
Yeah.
and things like this, because I enjoy the secrecy. I love going up into just a tavern and, just that whole concept of like the colonial time when they went up above the Green Dragon Tavern.
It's history.
They're just hiding out in a freaking room, having a meeting. That to me is alluring. I mean, it's cool going into the big elaborate buildings and everything, but I mean,
It's not our roots, though.
it's not our roots. We got too big for our britches, I think.
Well, that's why a lot of these buildings are now going by the wayside.
George is the praying mantis of the podcast. Why? Because I keep doing this. Because I'm talking my hands. Is that what he's doing? I got it.
Is he talking about me because I'm hunching?
No, he's talking
No,
about me
it's
because I keep
George.
doing this.
Yeah.
Very nice. Worshipful that Greg Schultz. It's nice of you.
Yeah. I also think we're kind of.
I keep touching my hands together, so that's why he's calling me the praying mantis.
I think we're more financially focused in the craft these days because we have these gigantic endowments
Head
too.
ripped off. I get it.
And Joe Schultz said you're more like a dung beetle.
Nice.
Go ahead, Ken.
Sorry,
Nice.
brother Ken.
No, that's okay. I think we're more focused financially these days because we have these huge endowments that we, came from, early on in the establishment of our lodges. A lot of money was given to the lodge from the estates of some of our more prominent brothers.
Right.
And that's built up over time. And in a lot of cases, it's generated more interest, than inflation. So now we have all of this money. And a lot of that gets donated out to various charitable causes. But I think that's you were saying that we're more focused on money today
Yeah,
than we were
absolutely.
back then, and I think that's one of the reasons why.
Maybe
that's a little simplistic.
I'm looking at it like this: if you went up to Sam Adams back in the 1700s and he'd be like, "Hey, your lodge needs to file a 5013C," he'd be like, "Get fucked." I'm looking at it from that perspective. Like Freemasonry was never. It didn't really have anything to do with the government. It wasn't charity. It was a group of like-minded men.
Right.
They had a base. It was like-minded men that were seeking knowledge and philosophy in esotericism. Is that the word I'm looking for?
Yeah,
sure.
It wasn't a 5013C. Hey, let's talk to the trustees and find out how much money we have for. Like, I think the whole purpose of the craft got friggin' lost somewhere along the lines where we became in ourselves a damn corporation.
I mean, faith, hope, and charity.
Hate it.
Faith, hope, and charity have always been cornerstones of Freemasonry.
True,
but I think it wasn't focused on as much as
I don't think it should. Yeah, that's why I said worship Brother Greg Schultz. Circus. What the? Never mind.
Circus.
No, but I mean, realistically, like I'm looking at it from this point of view. It is now like if you want to do charity, faith, hope, and charity, that's great. It should be on a small scale in your local communities. These whole, I mean, granted, I'm going to get crucified for this because
yes, you are.
There's people in the Masonic Care Hospital and everything that are taken care of by our brothers and everything. I think it's an absolutely great program. I'm not diminishing what it does, and I don't want it to get shut down. I would be adamantly clear about that. But the point that I'm making is now we have this giant overhead that if the bottom falls out, what's going to happen to that overhead? It's going to crash and burn, or it's going to have to be bought by somebody else. I personally wish that Freemasonry never moved to the big, large charitable things and kept it more on a local basis. Because now, look at it from, we're doing an alternative universe here, right? Internet crashes. What happens to all those big things that Masonry has done?
Yeah, a lot of them won't be able to stand on their own accord without the use of technology.
Well, and how much of this do you think? So there's always been charity within the craft, but this philanthropic efforts to build hospitals, and there's all these research centers. I think there's an eye research center. There's a cardiac research center. All these things. I wonder how much of that was to try to change the image of the craft after the Morgan affair. To kind of open, hey, we're not.
That's a good one.
Maybe that's where they started to say, hey, we have to do something to change our image, to change our reputation. So the best way to do it is start handing out money because people kind of like that. And who doesn't love? How can you argue? I mean, to this day, if somebody's like, oh, you're a Freemason? And then you tell them that Shriners are Freemasons.
Yeah, nobody can say.
What's going on behind me here?
No, nothing.
I don't know. Okay. Looks like you're looking behind me. No. But it's like, yeah, exactly. But I wonder how much of it came out of that to change our image.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and not only that, the Morgan affair, but then shortly after you had Andrew Jackson. Jesus. Yeah, we definitely needed to change our image.
Yeah. So
I will say this though. All right, I know we kind of shitted on Andrew Jackson last episode we did it, but I mean, I just want to go back to that one real quick. He was also a freaking war hero. He was a douche when he was in freaking New Orleans, but I mean, he was trying to win a battle, and he beat Packingham. He beat the snot out of him with just
but you could say the same about Kaiser Wilhelm.
Yeah.
He was a war hero,
or Hitler.
He was on the right. Actually, I was afraid to go there.
Well, I'm not.
But like.
He won a lot of battles too.
No, he didn't. Hitler didn't win anything. He looked at a map and went, "You go down."
Okay.
Look, that's all he did. But Jackson was actually a war hero because he was there in the front lines with his men.
But he's only a hero because he was on the side that won.
Also true.
True.
If he were on the losing side, he would not be considered a hero.
If you want to look at it from the other point of view, is his strategy and his tactics were sound.
Oh yeah.
So he did have some sort of.
If you want to say he was a military genius or highly intelligent when it comes to military efforts, absolutely.
Wow, George is bilingual.
Doesn't make him a good person.
Worship Brother Joseph Schultz. Wow, George is bilingual. Yeah, I know.
Buy something.
I know a little bit of German. I do
Yeah,
know
a little bit. Yeah, because you got yelled at in
I
German.
was
as a
like,
kid,
Yes,
didn't
my
you?
father used to yell at.
Yes, I remember
4
you saying that.
words.
Yes.
Impressive.
Can you spell bilingual without looking back at the screen?
No. Yes, my father spoke German to my mother, and my mother swore back at him in Italian. It was quite a funny little
Wow.
interaction.
That's
they
why
had.
you're so confused.
My father used to
I'd be
say,
all messed up too.
"Schnell Fräulein Schleithhut," which means "get moving, woman pig," and my mother would
Wow,
fire
that's
back with
messed
"Ma
up.
fangu facin," which is beep 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 beep. But it all in good fun. My mother and father had a great relationship, but
One pig. That's messed up.
yeah, it was pretty funny.
Sure, what she was saying was not very nice.
No,
In
not at
return,
all. Nope.
No, my father was usually the instigator of causing trouble and breaking her balls.
gee,
So
apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
never.
Not at all.
Anyway, alternate universe. Get back into this real quick.
Mm.
So I think personally, Worship Brother Greg Schultz. George's new nickname is Schinkel Gruber. Nice.
Sounds something I would pick off part of my body.
Yeah, pretty much. But getting back into alternate universe, here's the problem. So this is where I feel like it will hurt Freemasonry if the grid goes down, or not the grid, but the internet goes kaboom. Because, well, I mean, first it's going to hurt everything, but we're just talking about Freemasonry as itself. Is that we have so much invested into things such as hospitals and foundations and all the stuff that if and a lot of it is paper trails through the internet and through its websites and stuff like that. If all that goes kaboom, all of the overhead is going to go bye-bye. All of the big things, the charitable things that we do are going to go bye-bye. The craft, I think itself, will be fine. I know people will be pissed off going, I didn't get a notification for my last meeting. But other than that, I think
Rafferty would be out on horseback delivering
Yeah,
messages to
exactly.
people. Poor horse.
Yeah, we're gonna have to learn how to ride horses again, man. That doesn't sound like fun.
You better get that guy a freaking Clydesdale, some kind of draft horse.
Mm.
Do you remember in Robin Hood Men in Tights when the chick jumped from the heavy set chick jumped from down from the skinny what's it Maid Marian jumped down from the balcony onto her horse, the horse caught her and she rode off, and then her handmaid, which was the big bitch, was freaking, she jumped off the side of the thing and the horse moved
Just
off
moved up a little bit, yeah.
Oh, Rafferty's gonna beat the
Poor
shit out of me.
Poor Rafferty.
Yep.
But here's the one.
Actually, I gotta say this though.
Yeah.
Rafferty has lost a ton of weight. He looked great. See him the other day. He looks great. He lost a lot of weight, cut out sugars and carbs and stuff.
Good for him.
Good for him.
job, man.
Cheers, Rafferty.
Cheers, Rafferty.
Well done.
Anyway,
But I think one of the risks of something like this happening, while the craft would survive, you could potentially have some loss of the universality of it and the consistency across, because you could end up I'll go geek here for a moment. So like the Mandalorians in the new TV show, you've got like these true purists that are following this creed, and you never take your helmet off, and there's a strict interpretation of almost zealots in essence. And then you have the other ones who are like, no, it's cool to take your helmet off.
Yeah.
That's totally fine.
Yeah.
So you may lose some of that cohesiveness and that consistency from jurisdiction to jurisdiction, where more so than just tradition, some things may get lost along the way.
So Matt, just real quick, I have to just jump in here because we have a new Patreon. Matt Haggerty just signed up for the Patreon.
Just now.
Matt Haggerty, are you still watching? If you're still watching, I got some stuff for you. First off, I'm sending you the Discord link. You are now going to be on the Discord. Just giving you fair warning that you have some smokers and jokers on here from Discord.
Yeah, God
that
help.
I will make sure that I send him the rules pamphlet.
Rules pamphlet. Yep. You're probably going to get razzed the minute you walk in. It's all in good fun. I want you to have fun with it, and that's as easy as it is to join Discord.
Yeah, it's an on-the-air sign up. Look at that. We haven't had one of those.
For as little as $5 a month, you too can join Patreon, just like Matt Haggerty did. For $5 a month, you get the exclusive access to Patreon content. You get access to our Discord channels, and you'll get the elusive collector's item, soon to be taken over by the Danbury Mint, the Gold Tone Freemasons podcast. No,
No, not at all.
the Danbury Mint always makes like those plates that are on TV. Limited to a casting of 500,000.
Yeah, they create artificial scarcity.
You too can have a Pope
trinkets.
Francis plate.
Yes.
Yep.
So yeah.
Welcome, Hags. Welcome to the welcome to Discord. Welcome to Patreon. Thank you for signing up. We appreciate all your support. And just understand that everything that happens in Discord is all in good fun. These brothers will break their back for you. We have a lot of fun in there. And
one other little thing on Discord. So I'm not at liberty to fully discuss some information that I have, but for those that are thinking about joining Patreon and getting access to Discord, I have this little teaser for you. I have spoken to somebody who some would consider a Discord legend that recently retired from Discord, that is perhaps planning a comeback, much like Michael Jordan did when he went and played baseball for a few years and said, "Now I'm coming back and win another champion." We may have a return of a Discord legend coming very, very soon.
we'll have to discuss this.
All right. Good to know there, Elche. Thank you.
That's
You're
awesome.
welcome. Elche. You're just jealous because I make this look good.
You do.
Speak of which, there he is.
What?
Hey, Mountain, get in here.
What? Oh no!
The Mountain is here.
Is that Raph?
That is Rafferty.
He's more like a hill now.
Come on, show everybody.
Come on, Raph, get in
Come on,
here.
Raph, get on the camera
You
here.
don't have to be on camera.
Show him your grandmother's sweater.
Just let me see it.
Show him grandma's sweater.
Get in here and shake it.
Oh, God, don't say that shit.
Like
He's
a
gonna come in the
Polaroid. Shake
corner.
it like a Polaroid picture. Get on in.
He's going to
here.
stick his bare ass around the corner.
Shake-
Oh, no, there's
shake it,
ladies and
shake-
children
shake-
here. He won't.
Shake it.
What?
Shake it like a Polaroid.
No,
Not Rocco. We said Raph, the mountain.
I said Raph. Oh, I didn't say Rocco.
Hi, Raph.
Rocco's not in here.
You want to
Hey,
come
buddy.
say hi? Come on, Rafferty. Come in here.
You want
Say
to
hi to the
come?
You could share mics with Ken.
Oh, you're gonna go in the front. Oh, okay.
You can come sit in. You want to come sit in my chair for a little bit?
Oh,
Okay.
Christ almighty. Here we go.
Come on over.
I got a back injury. You don't sit on my lap. Yeah.
So I can hear.
Oh my God, that felt good. Are you talking about the headphones or?
God. Anyway,
What's up, bro?
let's so the other half of this, I want to talk about alternate universe. We've talked about how if the internet as a whole went kaboom, but let's talk about something else that's kind of trending at the moment.
Oh boy,
No, we're not going to.
he's going off.
No,
He's going off script.
No, not going off script.
Got
What
the
if
mics?
Freemasonry
Oh.
gets censored?
Okay.
Freemasonry gets thrown off.
Thrown off. You're saying like thrown off like social media platforms.
Yes.
Things like that.
Mhm.
To me, wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
I don't think it would be either.
Yeah, no.
I just want to get your take on this.
Yeah.
And again, I'm
Yeah.
not getting political. I'm not
No,
getting
absolutely
freaking
no.
ideology or anything like that. I'm just talking about
Well,
just
freaking
in a basic sense of, let's just say people decide that
Yeah, we can't have this.
we actually think that Freemasonry is devil worshippers and baby killers and babysitters and everything else that Carly Fonza said, and
or they're
we're
just
the NWO, and they decide, you know what, let's just avoid this altogether by getting rid of it.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's
That's where I'm coming with this.
that seems.
the internet's
plausible,
fine.
So
But Freemasonry goes bye-bye. How does this help or affect us? And what does Freemasonry do to change it or try to work around it?
we'd be fine.
Here's my personal.
lonely
I-
freemasonry.com. No?
I thought you were gonna go. I'm so lonely. So lonely.
No, seriously. What do you think?
I think it would not be a bad thing. I think, for the most, I can only speak for myself and my personal motivations. I don't.
As we always do, because we do not represent any Grand Lodge, Grand jurisdiction, or any other grand anything.
What he said.
Ever.
I do what I do for the craft and for the brothers. And I have said this to, I forget who I said this to, because I got into this conversation with somebody. And I mean it when I say it. The greatest things I do in my life, or some of the greatest things I do in my life, people will never know about.
Correct.
And I'm okay with that, because I don't do it for the recognition. I don't do it to have somebody smash that like button. I do
And
it.
subscribe.
I do it because it's the right thing to do.
Right.
And sure, does it make me feel good doing the right thing? Absolutely. But I'm helping somebody.
Right.
And some of the best things I've ever done in my life, nobody will ever know that they happened.
Correct.
And that's totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it kind of, again, it might be helpful because you don't have these people putting all these pictures up on their in their profile pictures or whatnot, and then creating a bad light for the craft. It may weed out some of those individuals that have ulterior motives that are chasing a title or chasing that pat on the back or chasing the hug, as they like to say. You might be left with people that are doing it for all the right reasons, and word will still get out there.
Right.
So
I think it would. I'm going to leave Ken the last thought because he's the most intelligent cyborg and he works off of Skynet. So
hold on, he's still processing.
He's still processing.
You go next.
I can hear the beeps and the boops, but no, I just wanted to. I think it would. For me, it would be a double-edged sword, and here's why. One, we run a podcast off of a YouTube, which is a social media platform.
Oh yeah.
We also have we have Facebook pages, which are on a social media platform.
Yep.
I mean, I guess I don't know. Would a podcast like Apple Podcasts, would that be considered a social media platform, or is that just kind of a podcast? Different.
Sure. Well, if anybody's going to like Facebook is censoring people, I guarantee you Apple is going to do the same thing.
Well, there were people that they dropped from their platform completely.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why we have to go ham radio.
Right. So,
you can't stop the signal.
for me, it would be a double-edged sword because
Signals everywhere.
it would hurt the podcast. It would hurt getting the good word of Freemasonry out. And I don't mean the good word is, and I'm showing up at your door wearing a button-up shirt to the collar, and y'all heard the good news. Like, I don't mean like that. I mean, just being able to do a podcast and show that we're just regular guys and all that stuff. I think that's where you see the good works of Freemasonry on social media. That would hurt us.
It would hurt us from the standpoint you wouldn't have as wide of an audience, but you'd still have an audience. It would change your audience, and it would change the number of people you could impact.
Yep.
But it doesn't change the impact itself. It's just that circle gets a little tighter.
Which is fine.
Right.
Which is absolutely fine.
Here is the other thing, though. This is why I would actually like if Freemasonry got kicked off of every social media platform.
Because you already are.
And actually, I mean, we make jokes about it, but I think, I don't know who I had this conversation. Was it you?
Probably.
I had the conversation with you. I said, I've never been happier. I don't get pissed off when I see people's posts. I don't get to see that. I don't get to see the negative shit in this world anymore. And I'm in a much better, happier place being that I've got kicked off of all of them.
So imagine how miserable you really were.
Yeah, it was pretty.
Because this is happy you.
Right.
Yeah. Well, he didn't throw the laptop when he couldn't get the audio to work.
That's right. He
Did
didn't.
you
Right?
notice that?
Yes.
He didn't get pissed.
You're like, let me just,
It's a whole new George.
there are no mistakes, only happy accidents.
And realistically, it has. You wouldn't believe how much that social media and stuff like that affects your mental health.
Programming, man.
Right. So, but with that also being said, though, one of the things I think it would help Freemasonry would be the Mason in a basic sense, just his own Masonic, I could be more Masonic now and not get pissed off and be unmasonic in a sense. But two, what do you always see with these Illuminati Brotherhood people?
They're always
Never do away with WhatsApp.
No, let's go with this, right?
Okay.
When they always contact you, what is it usually a picture of?
Freemason.
Oh, Freemason. That's right. So what they're doing is they're going into social media, and every Freemason that puts his picture up there, he's got all his pictures up there, taking pictures with his brothers and everything.
Yeah, they impersonate.
You can actually hold down the iPhone button, right? Stop me if I'm wrong. You can hold down the photo, and it pops up and it says "Save the photos." They save the photo.
Yeah.
They make a new profile. They use it.
Yep.
So all that would come to an abrupt halt, and you wouldn't have to worry about scam artists, now would you?
Right. That's true.
That's where I think it would benefit, is where people wouldn't be getting screwed out of thousands and thousands of dollars thinking they're part of something that's actually bullshit. Coming on the next episode.
Yeah.
But I that's where I think it would actually help for Masonry.
I think we'd probably be fine.
Welcome, Kurt.
like I said, we come from a time before technology, right? So if all of a sudden we can't do marketing, we can't talk about Freemasonry, we can't have groups around Freemasonry on social media platforms, we'd still be okay. We'd still be able to interest, men in the craft. Like you guys already said, it's probably going to benefit us, if anything. And I'm just looking forward to going back to the time when we can hand out handbills again about Freemasonry.
Pamphlets.
That's really what I'm looking forward to. So I think bring it on.
I'm going to put him on stone tablet and hit you upside the head with it.
Yeah, I know.
Do you think that if Joe was to create a new Masonic lodge, it would be Wolverine Lodge number 27? Worship Master Jed Eckert.
Could be.
See.
Or La Revolution Lodge. And what was that?
Vive la Revolution. No.
Follow him to the ends of the earth.
Hey, man.
I mean, that jacket's in way too good shape to be like a revolutionary. It's got to be like frayed on the edges and shit, and have
It's
like
Old Navy, man. It's Old Navy.
Of course it is.
You guys are just jealous.
The L
Lieutenant
tray.
Dan, you ain't got no legs. Didn't Lieutenant Dan have the same jacket?
Some say I have 3.
Do you own a boat? Have you ever been up on the mast screaming at God?
No.
Come get me,
I don't like
son of a
boats.
bitch.
I'm not a
Right?
big
Lieutenant Dan had that
I
same
know.
jacket. I think it was in the
I
bar
don't think Old
scene.
Navy existed back then. It's Old Navy, man. You're just jealous. It's better than Ken's sweater.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You can't divert this one.
Where's
though. This
Tarwood?
is-
I don't even wear that sweater anymore because of you bastards.
I wasn't even here for it. I wasn't here for that
It's
one.
like at the bottom of my freaking closet.
Well, I'm not
I
stopping
don't
wearing
give a
this
shit.
jacket because, damn it, I like it and I look good.
I washed it and I like folded it and I'm like, no, fuck you. You're going on the floor.
I can't tell if it's Jed Eckert in Red Dawn 1980s or if it's the remake.
There is no remake. It doesn't exist. There's only the 1980s. Only in the
Rambo,
1980s.
Rambo First Blood. I think he was wearing
Yes!
that jacket when he
He
got
could be
off
Ra-
the
yep.
bus.
Yeah,
give me a
Rambo
backpack.
First Blood. There we go.
Rambo.
Get me a backpack.
Yeah.
Why are you pushing me, man?
Just don't go crazy.
You could be Brian Dennehy.
Oh, you son of a... No, Rafferty could be Brian Dennehy.
It's true, he could.
Why are you pushing me?
You'll be the deputy that I take out first with the little punji sticks I make in the woods.
Oh, shit. Yeah, let's come up with a couple. Let's keep going with this. We got.
Right,
like,
keep
I don't
going.
know.
Come
we got
on.
like
way off
9
topic
minutes left.
now.
We're way off topic. I think we pretty much beat this one with a dead horse, but I don't know.
Yeah, you keep attacking my fashion sense. Go ahead.
I'm not attacking your fashion
Sounds-
trends. I think it's
sounds like
very
you got it.
It's
stylish.
actually a nice jacket.
Thank
It's
you.
actually a really nice
It has
jacket.
a little hood in the collar that I can unzip and pull out, but I don't need to because I like the hoodie. I like the double up look because it's cold out.
You look like a I don't know.
Like Trent Reznor.
Like, don't F with me, man. Like if I was walking down the street, just don't F with me.
you look militia.
Leave me
I'm not
alone.
gonna lie, you look militia.
Huh?
He just needs an arm patch. Let's get him an arm
No,
patch.
we don't need any arm patches.
Born to die.
No.
What do you think?
Oh,
Anyway,
That's okay. I don't mind.
We're so off
No,
the
no.
rails.
that's all right.
Okay.
We're all
Where's
done
Raph?
anyway.
Raph is usually the one that brings us back, and
He's
he's
just jealous because I look good.
disappeared.
What do you say, boys?
Raph.
I think we've pretty much covered this one. My only hope,
I think so. Yeah.
my only hope is that now we've done another alternate universe is that this one doesn't actually.
Oh, before
come
we
true.
wrap it up,
Yeah,
before we
God,
wrap it up,
Yes.
in this alternative universe, I
Mhm.
win the lotto. I win like 500.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Yes, we're throwing that out there.
I'm just throwing it out there,
Yep.
and I'll rebuild. It'll
And
be
I
like,
become president, I think.
Yes.
It'll be like the end of the Dark Knight, the comic.
Oh, I see
book.
what you're doing. You're all trying to throw things in there that'll never happen in order to make
Well,
this one not happen.
Well, or if it actually,
or if
happens,
it actually happens, everything that
then-
is said in here goes along with
Ah,
it.
you
Right.
See what's going on.
Okay.
Right.
All right. All right. That's fine.
and then like I'm in the burned out ruins of some mansion in the basement, teaching the future generations of Freemasonry, like drawing
I
symbols.
picture you looking like,
Like a Jedi or something.
I
Kind
picture
of like
you,
the end of the Dark Knight comic book, like when he's
Okay.
an old, when like the
Mhm.
actual Frank Miller comic book.
so you're going to be in the basement teaching kids. Is that what you're saying? I picture you.
Well, no, I said the
looking
next
like-
generation, not kids.
The next generation.
Well,
okay.
like
No, I wasn't going there.
okay,
No. I was
Young
going to go
people.
with. I picture you in that scenario looking like from Lord of the Rings.
Like which character?
see, I see myself looking more like Old Man Logan from
No,
the Logan movie.
The guy from
Gandalf, like you're going Gandalf with the big long
no,
beard.
Frodo with the hairy feet.
and-
I set that one up.
Zachary.
Anyway,
Hold on.
what do we say, boys?
Yeah,
Anything else you want to add?
I can't even remember what my train of thought was on the actual topic. So yeah.
Yeah, no.
Multiverse. We kind of went into a multiverse.
You know what I would like to do, though, in all seriousness, though? One of the things I had read about Nostradamus was that he actually attended mystery schools, went to Egypt and did all these things, which, I mean, some surmise that ended up becoming Freemasonry. I would love to do an episode on Nostradamus and his
any potential Masonic ties.
Masonic ties. That's going to be a good one to do.
Yeah.
We're going to cover in our future episodes. We're going to be covering a situation that I was made aware of. And it was a brother who I ended up finding out wasn't part of a recognized
that
lodge.
One. Did you speak to him anymore? No.
Yes.
Okay.
And we'll go over it. I'll talk to you guys about
it
later. But I'd like to cover an episode because I believe a lot of people who are part of a non-recognized Grand Lodge, and I hate to say the word clandy, but
clandy.
You love saying that
they
word.
really don't realize it.
No, they have no idea.
Yeah,
They
most
have no
of
idea
them don't.
Yeah.
until it's too late.
Yep.
Because and again, we'll cover this in another
Which is why it's
episode, but-
important to not treat people negatively as soon as you
Mhm.
find that out, because it's not like they're trying to,
Nope.
circumvent or steal any glory from mainstream Freemasonry. They just
Correct.
really don't know most of the time.
But we're going to cover that and what to do in the I guess you would say the signs that you would notice that would make it
Oh yeah, how to recognize is important.
how to recognize
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
Speaking to another person. Again, everything's
That'd actually be a really good.
that's why you got to test it.
Be a really good topic to cover, because we have a lot of people that listen to this podcast that are thinking about getting involved. We want to make sure they go the proper avenues and the proper organizations.
Right. And I think that's what it was. Rafferty had something else. What was his other one?
Title chasers, chair chasers.
Yes, the chair chasers episode. People who just want the title and look at me and put a feather in their cap. We're going to cover those Masons as well. They're out there.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
closer than you might think.
Yep.
Not referring to anybody in this
Not
room.
at this
No,
point.
I know.
No.
I know exactly where you're going with that. Anyway, all right. So let's shut it down for the Freemasons podcast. I'm Right Worshipful Brother George Mudry signing off.
Worshipful Brother Jed Eckert signing off.
Worshipful Brother Ken signing off.
I am Ken signing off.
Wait, oh, that was nice. When did we get a robot sound effect?
That was my voice.
The day you joined the show.
I walked right into
Yes,
this.
you did.
I deserve that.
Make fun of my jacket.
Did
I'll
you?
show you.
Did you
I'll
walk
show
into
you.
that, or did you? I mean, most robots got what they got the
You
wheels,
sprinted into that.
Yeah, the tracks.
the tracks. All right, thank you too, everyone, for tuning in. That was fucking awesome. Have a good
Good night,
one.
everybody.
Thank you, brothers and friends. Good night.
Be well. Wolverines. Wolverines.